Okay, so it's pretty much finished now. I still need to take the paint off of the what's it called? Masking tape. Take the masking tape off. But the workshop's pretty much finished. So let me show you inside. So this is it. This is the workshop. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I think I said before it ended up costing me a bit more than I thought it would. So I think it was around £600 in the end, excluding the cost of the shed itself. The majority of that cost was actually the roof. So I had a felt roof on there which I've replaced 3 times, but for reasons unknown, no matter what I do to seal it, it still ends up developing a leak. So I replaced it with a corrugated Onduline roof, which costs around £260. So that's a majority of it. And obviously a couple £100 for the insulation, a few £100 for all this OSB 2 board, which obviously covers the walls, the ceiling, and the floor and the doors and everything. It's actually quite warm in here, but it does quite a good job of retaining the heat as well as reflecting the heat as well. So a few days where we've had it really warm, that aluminium foil reflective insulation has done quite a good job of also reflecting heat back out. So it's quite a good way of kind of modulating the heat. But if it is cold, I got that the Honeywell heater up there, which is an electric fan heater. Within half an hour it kind of really brings the temperature up if it's a bit cold in here. I came in here the other night and it was about 9 degrees, and within half an hour it was up to 16. And then obviously continued to go as I needed it. But yeah, it's a really nice space. I'm really happy with how it's come out. It feels really good. It really makes you feel like you're in a closed off area, so you can properly think and concentrate on what you're doing, get kind of some free headspace time. But it works really well. It's around 2.1 meters wide and I think it's about 3.2 meters in length altogether. But I'm quite happy with how things are laid out. So specifically how I think managed to, manage a split between some form of storage and also having the workshop capability as well. So really this side over here is predominantly for storage, which is why I've got, you know, the bikes, there's fold out chairs and some stuff. And obviously in this racking I've got things like floor tile cutter, some stuff with electric lawnmower, some painting stuff, gardening stuff, weed killer stuff for the bikes, etc. As well as in behind me here, and kids' spades and things like that. Also managed to put some racking in for some wood storage, and obviously somewhere to put the ladder as well. And so the old Twizy wheels there as well. But I've managed to get all my tools set up so they're constantly set up, which means I can use them more, and already I've used them a reasonable amount in terms of how long it's been set up. So got the table saw here. This does come on a really big set of legs, which I took those apart and have now mounted it to one of these IKEA tables that I put on some wheels, so I can easily move this forwards and backwards and lock it into position. I tend to move it out to about where I'm sitting so I can plug it in, also plug in the vacuum. I think that works really well. I can also fold out the workbench over here as well if I need more space, so everything works really well there. And then I've done a reasonable job of labelling everything so I can find things easily. So I know glue and silicone is in here. All of my clamps are up here. Just some kitchen roll in case I need to clean up, you know, spilt glue or anything like that. Also, because health and safety is important, I've obviously got safety goggles and gloves and dust masks and ear defenders, as well as a first aid kit and emergency eye station. I think one thing that is really important, especially if you're working with wood and metal, obviously hopefully you don't get anything in your eyes, you're wearing the glasses, but if something pops up, you want to be able to get that stuff out and have it easy to access, not hidden on a shelf somewhere. And I've got fillers and stuff down the bottom here, as well as weed killer stuff and other paints on this column here. I know all my screws, bolts and wall plugs are in this section, drills and drill bits, sanding, suction pads, etc. Jigsaw blades, etc. in here. And up on this, I guess, wall organizer, I've got my sanding pads, screwdrivers, glues, chisels, spirit levels, squares, etc. And so I know how to get to everything, and selection of hammers and stuff here as well. As well as I've got a tool bag under here as well. It's also got various things that I can grab hold of. So yeah, really easy to access. But then also under these tables, so these are 3 IKEA tables that I think the tops are like £5, each leg is £2.50, so altogether you know, I think it's like £26 or something it costs with what really is essentially the whole workbench. And these tables are pretty sturdy. When I was drilling through them the other day to put the holes in for the suction, just to organise some of the cables for the chop saw there, you know, they are pretty robust, and that's how I can have the clamp on here and everything. It works pretty well. So yeah, so I'm able for this desk is really where I'm focusing on most kind of model type stuff. So underneath I've got some boxes for my V drums, which is just for storage. Got an old laptop so I can refer to some things online if I need to, as well as have some YouTube streaming. Little LED desk light, so I can see more intricate stuff. I've also got some kind of magnifying glasses which I can use when I'm working on small stuff. Got my soldering station set up there. Still got some stuff in the garage which I can move in to go with this. Everything's pretty much within easy reach. It's this constant open space. Along with the majority of this second space here is another, I guess, a detailed area that's got a rubber mat with various cutouts to not lose screws and washers and what have you. Then I have the drill press always set up there, which is really handy, along with, you know, a vice clamp on there as well. And then right at the back I have the chop saw. So most of the saw things that don't suck very well, so what I mean by that is the table saw has pretty good suction, so when the vac is connected to that there isn't much sawdust blowout. But even with the vac connected to the chop saw, you still get some blowout. So I can open up the doors and I have that go outside as opposed to getting it down here in the electrical equipment, which is pretty good. I am going to make see if I can 3D model some adapters for the vac so that it fits on some of the devices a little bit better, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so it means all my tools are constantly out, constantly able to access, which means you're just going to want to do more, or you can do more, because it's not a hassle of, oh, I really want to use a drill press but I need to get it out and set it up and do all this stuff. You don't have to do any of that. And then other items under here, I have got other tables that I can pull out if I need to use them. So they're just, again, cheap things from IKEA. So IKEA TV bench that I put wheels on so I can move things around really easily. And at the far end is the vac all tucked away under there. So there's quite a lot of usable, movable space. For these extra sheets of wood, I've just basically built a little L-shaped bracket on the floor to segment off where the bikes are, so I don't ever put anything on there, but it doubles up as being able to store a bit of wood there, so it looks kind of neat and easy to get to. I've got an Echo Dot in here connected up to the Anker Sound Boost, which I've reviewed in another video before. Just put a couple of basic shelves up with some chop-offs of the OSB board, just to keep my craft knife and some tweezers and different things up there. And all of the plug sockets pretty much I have labelled so I know exactly what they are. So I know one's for the laptop, one's for the drill press, one's for the table saw, chop saw, wherever it may be. So as I'm changing things in and out, even though I've got 10 plug sockets all together. If I'm charging things, I want to know that I'm unplugging the drill charger or not disconnecting the vac on the saw or something, whatever it may be. So I'm really happy with this little space. I'm looking forward to doing some projects in here and obviously some more videos from this location as well. I think in general it's just a nice location to kind of hang out and think about some of the stuff. So a couple of things I have initially planned. I'm going to try and make a veg trug. So these are about £150 normally. It's basically a raised planter for vegetables, etc. I think I can do that for a fraction of the price. Well, I say a fraction, maybe a third. So that's going to be the first kind of proper woodworking project outside some of the stuff I've been doing around here recently. And then the other thing that I'm most excited about, because it's gadget related, is finally making a start on the TBS Caprihania that I bought. So this is a fixed wing craft. The new version recently came out, the Caprihania 2, which is what I picked up. But I've been looking at this project for a couple of years. And now I'm going to slowly start building it together. And it will be a long-ranged fixed wing craft, so different to the quadcopters. I've never flown this type of thing before. I might not like it. More likely I'm going to suck at it because launching it's quite difficult, but that'll be an interesting thing for me to build in here. And it's perfect because it's going to take multiple days to do it and probably multiple weeks depending on how much time I have, but I can leave everything set up on here and not have to worry about kids coming and disturbing it or needing this room to do something else, like in the cave, like for work, or in the garage for something. So a dedicated area for these type of projects, which is fantastic. The only thing that I'm still thinking about is I may get either some dedicated sheets and covers, old bed linen or something, or I could use some of the decorating covers that I have. So when I'm working on a project like that, I want to be able to cover it up. So if I'm doing some sanding or some sawing or some drilling, I'm not going to disrupt or dirty anything I'm working on. And same potentially for the bikes that are over here. I have had bike covers before, but they just tend to rip and kind of disintegrate over time. But I might look at perhaps velcroing some sort of curtain or sheet over there to give some protection to the bikes when a saw's going. But so far, the way I've been working has worked out quite well in terms of they're not getting covered in sawdust and crap, so perhaps everything's going to be okay. But yeah, this is it. This is my workshop. I'd be really interested to know what you think. Good, bad, any suggestions? Why did I do this? Why didn't I do that? And also, if you've got a similar workshop or you have a plan to do something similar, let me know. I think the only things that I might do in a workshop in the future is I might look at a solar shed type of solution. So I don't really use much power in here, but I have got a couple of battery terminals and an old battery, and if I can get a cheap inverter, so you can get an inverter for about £100, and I don't know how much it would cost me for like a 200 watt solar panel and the module that AC to DC type module or whatever it is, or however it basically connects in to the battery to be able to charge it. I might look at something like that. So Andy Kirby on his site has done some good work on a solar shed. I'll put a link in below. And obviously thanks to him for also help inspiring me to get my finger out my arse and finish this off. And again, thanks to my mate Ed, who you've met before, for helping me transport this stuff in his truck. So yes, thanks for watching. Looking forward to doing more projects in the workshop. I'm really happy how it's all come together. Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.